you. There we go. Can I get the house lights on, please? Pretty, please? There we go. All right. I really love starting with audience participation. Who doesn't love doing that after lunch? So, quick show of hands if you don't like learning. No? Okay. Raise your hand if you don't like books. Okay, maybe a couple. This one's a bit riskier. Raise your hand if you don't like people. Okay, I knew I'd get a few hands on that one. Fair enough. I personally love books, I love learning, and I also like people, especially Rubyists, because they're the nicest of people. And so hence this book club. I'm a member of WNB.RB, Women and Non-Binary Rubyists. Please come join us. And last year, I volunteered to lead my first ever book club. It was scary. I was excited, which meant it was probably going to lead to a lot of growth for me as a human, and I would definitely say it was. So this talk is going to prompt you to think about whether or not you should lead a book club. The answer is yes. And hopefully next year, if you didn't raise your hand, then you'll come and tell me how your book club went. Like any good book, this presentation has both a prologue and an epilogue, as well as 4 exciting chapters. Let's get into it. So, why lead a book club in the first place? First, you have a love of learning, which all of you, no one raised their hands for that. And you've also got a topic at the back of the mind that you've been thinking of exploring further, but you just haven't made the time to do it yet. This is your nudge that it's time to do that deep dive. And if you're not sure, any book by Sandy Metz will do. Then you've looked at your calendar and you realize that you actually have quite a bit of time over the next few months. I don't think anyone's ever said that, but you have enough time, just about enough time to do your prep. And lastly, you're excited to learn publicly, you're excited to help other people learn, and you're also excited to learn from others. To get started, chapter 1, we want to be democratic but selfish. The first thing you want to do is find some other humans that you're excited to hang out with. This could be a regional community, a work community, WNB.RB, but just find people that you are excited to be with because you want to be selfish. You want to enjoy this. Then find some books to offer up in your community. So you've got that topic, see if you can find a few options, but also be open to suggestions from other people in your community. That'll help get some buy-in. But don't be afraid to say no. If someone suggests a book and you're like, oh no, super don't want to do this, you can just say, yeah, you should lead that book club next time. You do that book if you like it so much. Very nice way to say no, no thank you. And then you'll want to find some times. So find times that work for you. When are you most energized in the day? Is it at lunch? Is it after work? Find a time that will work for you. And maybe a couple days for options. Once you've got your times, you've got some books, open it up to your community for voting. That'll help get you some buy-in, people will feel invested, and they'll be more excited to join your book club. Once you've got your time, you've got your books, then you can create your schedule. For effective testing with RSpec 3, which was the book club I led, it was 15 weeks, so 1 chapter a week is what we did. But I also planned in some break weeks, because it's a lot of work doing a book club. Everyone's gonna want a break. Then send out your calendar invites. Chapter 2, Prepping Like a Pro, arguably one of the most important chapters. So the first thing you'll want, what's going on here? This way? There we go. Give yourself some time to prep. I would recommend 2 weeks, maybe even a month before that first session so that you have lots of time to get yourself sorted. If it's been a while since you've created a repo, maybe you need a little refresher on that. Oh, that went really fast. Did it go? Okay. Create a repo. I did 1 folder per chapter, which worked really nicely. Then it's time to crack open your book. So I would find a comfy seat, open up your chapter. I would do this every week and read the whole chapter from start to finish with a highlighter and a pencil. This will give you a really good overview of what you're going to be leading in book club that week. And then you can highlight the important bits, write any side notes that you want to dive deeper in. There we go. Then, once you've read that chapter, head to your computer and create a presentation. I use Google Slides for doing this book club with the page numbers for the section, what the titles were. I'd have the learnings coming up, and then lots of code examples. Because someone hasn't done the reading that week, a bunch of people don't even know where their book is, and you want to have some meaningful conversations about code. So having examples of the code on the screen is super helpful. You can highlight using different highlighters, and then just have things coming up as and when you want to talk about them. Also, since you'll probably be prepping for this a couple days in advance, maybe even a week if you're feeling super on top of things that week, Write some speaker notes. What seems super obvious to you at the time of creating the slide might not seem so obvious 6 days later after a bank holiday weekend. So write some, even if they're just point form, just to jog your memory. As you're creating your slides, you're probably going to be doing some coding as well. I would challenge yourself to do all of the code examples from the book. It'll help you feel more prepared when you go into that book club session, and then also just give yourself an immense sense of accomplishment. I would do a commit message for each section in the book with the page numbers so I could reference back if I needed to, what we were learning in that particular section, and if there were any commands that needed to be run, I would include those as well. And then I would do 1 PR per chapter with all of my commits, just so it was nice and organized and easy to share at the end of the book club session. As you're doing your learning, don't be afraid to go down a rabbit hole. Still be shellfish. This is your book club. Say the book recommends that you use binding pry, but you've always used debugger. What's the difference? What do other people use? Do a bit of learning, put a slide together, and then have that conversation during your book club. Get to enjoy it and learn from other people in your community. There you go. If you're doing an online book club, try to get there a couple minutes in advance so you can share your screen in advance and arrange your screen. So I like to be able to see the screen that everyone else is going to be seeing, my slides, my speaker notes, everyone's face who's in that online group, and then also the chat. So just give yourself a minute to arrange it. And then make sure you're comfortable. If you know that you get warm when you're presenting or talking, make sure you're wearing layers, have a cup of tea, a glass of water, and then also think about, if you are able, if you want to stand. If you think you might want to be on a conference stage, giving a talk one day, practice standing as you're leading those book club sessions. It'll just help you to feel that little bit more confident. All right, runtime dynamics. This is go time. You are in the book club session. Give yourself, or give other people rather, lots of opportunity for speaking. I'd like to have an open forum at the beginning of each session, which I'll show you in a second. Some emoji check-ins throughout, which I'll also show you. And then also just asking lots of questions. Had anyone ever used this feature before? Does anyone use this currently? What do people think of this implementation? I didn't understand this. Can someone explain it to me? Give lots of opportunity for feedback. And once you've asked for feedback, wait just those few extra seconds till it's a little bit awkward so that someone can unmute. You might not be able to see them because their video's off. So just give lots of space for people to respond. And if people are talking, the conversation's flowing, everyone's learning, they're collaborating, don't feel like you need to cut them off. If you are looking at the time and you're thinking, oh gosh, we're going to run over, maybe you skip a couple slides in the middle that weren't that important. Or maybe you just carry on from here next week. It's your book club. If you need to add an extra week at the end, add an extra week at the end. The most important thing is that people are learning and collaborating. So if you've done that, you nailed it. And on time, try to finish on time. Especially if it's an online book club, someone might have your session in between back-to-back meetings. So try to really finish on time, even 1 minute early if you can manage it. And if you can manage it, try to be available at the end of the session. When I was leading book club, I always said that I would be the last person to leave or come off the video call. And often, someone would stay on to ask a question that maybe they were a bit too nervous to ask with everyone else around. And one time, we even had like a really nice debugging session together. So it just helps to make sure everyone feels that they've got support if they're learning. Chapter 4, so you've just led your session. Now it's time to share the resources because at least one person wasn't able to make your book club session. For me, this included the slides, the video presentation, which does take a moment for Google to send to you, so don't panic when the first one hasn't arrived right away. The code, my code repo, the book source code repo, the source code of other people in the book club who had done really cool stuff that they wanted to share, and then also any links that we talked about throughout the book club session. Then have a little moment to reflect what worked well, what didn't work. You know, we have to iterate. And then I would suggest making a template so that when you start to lead your book club for the following week, it's just that little bit easier. In my template, I had the name of the book that we were leading, and then I had that open forum. And the open forum existed every single week, so everyone knew that they would have a chance to share what cool things they had done with RSpec. And at least one person always had something to share. Then, oh, this is delayed. you missed the emoji check-ins, but hopefully you all saw those. There we go, emoji check-ins. So it would be 3, 2, 1 emoji, and then people would react. And this is a nice, easy way for everyone to feel like they're contributing. And I would have these also throughout the book club. Then I have my template slide, which has the titles and the page numbers and the highlight sections. Followed by that was a divider for exercises, because this book always had really fun exercises at the end of it. Super recommend this book, by the way. Then another emoji check-in for how the exercises went, and then what we'd be covering next week. There we go. So epilogue, let's imagine that we have just all led a book club. Your organization has improved because even though you knew it was going to be a lot of work to lead a book club, it was still even a little bit more work. Your technical knowledge has improved because you basically read each chapter 3 times. Once on the couch, once while you were creating the code and creating the presentation, and then a 3rd time when you led the book club session. And don't feel like you have to be a subject matter expert to lead a book club. In fact, I think it's better if you're not. This really helps to build the community. When I led effective testing with RSpec, I was a solidly average, maybe even below average RSpec user. That's why I wanted to read the book, so I could get better. But we had staff engineers in that book club, senior engineers, and it made for a vibrant learning community. Your communication has also improved because you're leading sessions and creating slide. And lastly, you've helped to build the Ruby community, which is something we all want to do, and that's why we're here today. And also your confidence has improved. Let's all give our future selves a round of applause for the book club that we've just led. See? Feels great, doesn't it? Thank you very much for listening. I'm Jess Sullivan. I'm Canadian, but I live in the UK, and those are some of the things I like doing. If you want to connect with me or chat about leading book clubs, you can come and find me. I'll be hanging around, probably eating lunch, because I didn't get a chance to do that yet. And also, there's my LinkedIn. Thank you.